Yo, yo, everybody. I'm going to be a little bit calmer in this video. I just want to talk about a theory that I've explained to people numerous times and people can't find flaws in it. And for Red Dead 3, of course, everybody's heard of it. Everybody sitting here wondering what's going to happen, if it's going to happen, blah, blah, blah. So, I'm going to address what I think is the most reasonable approach that I haven't heard anyone else talk about except for me. And tell me if you have heard anybody else talk about this. Tell me if they found a flaw. Tell me anything. First, I'm going to start by talking about the flaws or the theories, conspiracies that don't make sense. So I'm going to go from worst to best on these. So the Mafia one, dumb idea. Sorry if I offended you, don't click off. The reason it's a bad idea, sure, Rockstar can make a great Mafia game. Just cannot be in the Red Dead Redemption series. You think of Red Dead Redemption? Wild West, cowboys, not Mafia. And the trilogy, the old GTA wannabe people with the Dutch, Hosea, Arthur standpoint, I don't like this one. Not because I don't like the characters, but because, spoiler alerts, by the way, I forgot to say that. Dutch, however you want to put it, in the end, watches Arthur die. And he may have been sympathetic, but he did let it happen. And then you kill him as John in Red Dead Redemption 1. So that, makes one character you're going to hate playing. It's like The Last of Us Part 2. People hated it because they made you play as Ellie. Besides the death of Joel, of course. Oh, spoiler alert. Hosea, only viable character I see. Hosea could work to an extent, but it'd be very hard to make a epilogue to that one, because when he died, it would be Arthur in the mid-story. Now Arthur playing as him. The biggest issue is people that are talking about this theory are mainly talking about when they first formed the gang. And you really think you have to be very, unless it changes. I'm not gonna talk smack. To play as Arthur as a 14-year-old and kill people, I don't think that's gonna work. I think that's off the table. Now, that's my issue with that one. Now there's one where it's like, oh, it could take place after as totally new characters. Here's the issue. Taking place after, you're out of the Wild West. And, 1900 and something. Like 1900 or whatever, is when Red Dead Redemption 1 ended, which takes place after Red Dead Redemption 2. Even in Red Dead Redemption 2, it's taking place at the very end of the Wild West. So I really doubt they can do that. Now, going backwards with new characters, it could work. I think that will be the most viable option, besides the one I'm about to bring up. But the reason I dislike it is the fact that beating the writing of a game like that, because people liked John Marston until they got to New Arthur, and some even quit because they weren't playing as John Marston at the beginning. Same thing with not playing as Joel in The Last of Us. I can relate those games very close to each other. Now, when it comes to things like this, now there's some people that are still stubborn enough to say that John's a better character, which, whatever you say, whatever you think, I think John and Arthur are both great characters. I personally like Arthur, though. His writing was definitely 10 times better. But a lot of the reasons people disagree with that is nostalgia. Same reason people still think Black Ops 2 is the greatest game out there. Sorry, it's not. Ignoring that, though, and trying to get rid of all the nasty comments that already just came for me. Here, my theory, I think, would work the best. And I think they set up perfectly to work the best, so it may happen. So first off, we'll start with the easy stuff. You start out in the West, because in Red Dead Redemption 2, it takes place, I think, Amarillo, Blackwater, all that's Texas. 90% sure that's what I've heard the whole time playing. If you look it up, that's probably what it says. I don't remember. I know Blackwater is, and I'm guessing the rest is a little bit, more West Texas. Go back beyond that, though. California, all of those. That could work great. So you got... It's in the West, California, Mexicans, all this, just the whole thing could work there. when it comes to historical. Now, and taken place before, right? And this is where people didn't really think about, and I understand why. But Arthur's dad. Don't click off. Arthur's dad is a very unknown character, to say the least. You hear what Arthur says about him. He says what he thinks. Arthur claims that he could not have died soon enough. He was a no good bastard. Quote from Arthur Morgan. Now, they both have scars on the chin. Off topic. He's wearing the hat his dad wore, and the only thing you see about his dad is a mugshot. He claims the game states that he was abusive. Okay. And his name is Lyle Morgan. I did not say that. He was married to, or with, Beatrice Morgan. And she died of natural causes. And Arthur claims that he watched Lyle Morgan die. And where he comes in, where he could work, is the fact that he could have had a bad label. You know, he's an outlaw, no doubt. No doubt about it. But he is probably doing what Arthur was doing whatever he can to survive, trying to make money. Arthur follows the footsteps. Now, I'm not going to get into the little details of missions or anything, but whatever they do with the story, they can end it off great. Arthur had a great ending. Cinematic, to say the least. Now, the reason I say he would work with the writing is because that keeps Arthur in the game, so people aren't going to, just leave because he's not there. And this even adds more to learn about Arthur with him. So, you got this guy, Lyle Morgan, which was arrested when Arthur was 11 for larceny. This was 1874, around that time. And when Arthur's born, all this, Arthur's a child, you're playing as him, and they do not state how his father dies, but the biggest speculation around is probably a hanging. It would make the most sense for being an outlaw and Arthur being able to watch him die. I think it could happen in a shootout, anything. Arthur, he don't talk about it. So, if it was a hanging, I think a hanging would be the most cinematic death for this. But my idea, right, is, so he's sitting up there, and if he has bad honor, in the end, this is, of course, just black and white version of it, but bad honor at the end, and he's sitting there looking around thinking, man, I did all wrong, I shouldn't have done this, and I'm getting what I deserve. Then Arthur sees him and follows in the outlaw footsteps onto Red Dead Redemption 2. And I'll get more into Arthur's part in this later on. Or, if you have good honor, you end up there looking around and you're thinking, I did all I could. I tried as hard as I could. I noticed what I was doing. I tried to stop it, tried to help. And everyone around here, everyone around me watching me die, including my son, Arthur, is going to see me be hung. And there's nothing I can do to close my story. No closure. So, my theory for that. And then this is where Arthur comes into play. That happens. Long story. You get into there. He passes away. Arthur sees it. Arthur thinks he's a monster, but he still follows in his path of the outlaw. And you do play. I say they have a little section where he plays Arthur when he first joined Dutch and everything. But here is something I think it could work. Because I know earlier I said they won't let kill people. A few missions, you're walking around pickpocketing, pulling off little scores like that, as you would at 14 and trying to be an outlaw. And then runs into Dutch, Hosea. You don't play as them. They do a little time skip. You're legal age now. Have a whole story. You run into Mary. Y'all fall out for a bit. Or I don't know the time period these happens. It could be in opposite order, but you understand the point. Mary and then or before... do not recall his wife's name, but Isaac. His grandson Isaac. Well, Lyle's grandson Isaac. Arthur's son Isaac. There. Arthur can't stay there. He has to go out. He still tries to support him, come back every once in a while, and then he finds him dead. You know that. He talks about it in Red Dead Redemption 2. So, that could definitely work for a storyline to start it off. And it brings in two stories you don't know every detail about, especially Lyle. Arthur, you know some of his story, but he's very, from a standpoint, when you play the game, you know what he's thinking sometimes, but not what he thought about in the past. He's a very present person just trying to focus on surviving and keeping everybody else alive. Now, let me go through here and see. And again, this could work with shootout or anything. The story, it can do whatever. He can be a lone wolf, he can be in a gang, he can do all that. And then I don't see any flaws because he don't talk about him much. He just knows he's an outlaw and he got arrested. Abusive. He claims to be abusive. Now, I don't know where it said this. This is just what Red Dead fandom, whatever, said. So, I'm not 100% sure on that. Do not quote me on that. But that's what they say. But they could say he had a bad name. If his mother is the one that said, because I swear I heard something about this in the game. If mother claimed that he beat on her, then she could be the bad guy in a sense if you had good on her. Like, I got framed for something I didn't do, which manipulated my son into thinking I'm a monster, when in reality I'm just trying to provide. Blah, blah, blah. You understand the point. So, whew. I'm looking through here to make sure I didn't miss anything. Arthur and Mary, you get to see how they started. I already covered that. So, okay. And yeah, again, this is just my theory. What I think is the biggest possibility for a next game if they do it. Now, Rockstar may silence me. Just kidding. Or am I? If this video is not posted, if this video gets taken down after you see it, just know Rockstar caught me. Okay? All jokes aside, my theory, and I'm not trying to clickbait on this video. If you stuck around this far, probably know that already. Now, thank you for watching. Tell me what you think. And if you have any other theories, let me know, and maybe I'll look into those if y'all like this. Very low effort video. But, besides point, it's been Jose Pink. I don't even know. If I make this series, we'll name it something. No. But, nevertheless, it's been Jose Pink. Later.